Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Elton. You guys just back with another video for me. Today we are back with another video, and we are going to be watching the most. I don't even know how to explain this, but all you gotta know is that most of this video is gonna be about a woman who feels entitled, and usually when people feel entitled to things don't go so well for them. You know what I'm saying? So today we're gonna be reacting to this lady on TikTok. As you can see, her handle she goes by exo.jessie. We got 6 videos from her TikTok account. So we're gonna be watching all 6 of the videos and all that. So pretty much like a little compilation of all the things that she talks about and whatnot. So let's see this.
Break it down, bring it back, make it clap. All the guys move out, and you know they come straight. 45, scooping past, how you fucking with these the greatest in love.
Alright, so first TikTok we're gonna watch is my son has a PS5 at his dad's house. And I'm not even gonna spoil that for you, I'm just gonna let y'all watch. To see what we're talking about. And honestly, like, yeah, I've read the comments and everything, and I mean, I've seen some of the videos. So I'm not new to this. It's just that even though I've already seen the videos, my opinion still stands, and my reaction and comments towards these videos and towards her still stands regardless. So let's just watch these.
I just found out that my son has a PS5 at his dad's house. I told him that he needs to go ahead and bring the console over here to share with his 6 siblings. If not, he's not allowed to go see his dad anymore. My son goes to his dad's house every weekend, and every time he comes back, he's always talking about, oh, this is what I played on the PS5, and this is what I did, and blah, blah, blah. And his siblings here do not have that. And to me, I don't think it's fair. So I told him that if he wants to continue seeing his father, he needs to grab that PS5, bring it over here so his brothers and sisters could play with it.
That's where you got me, because if the father's buying games, that are, buying things for his own home, those things are his. They belong to him. Because who's to say that the console was specifically for his kid? What if it was for him, so that he can play in it and all that? And his kid, you send your kid to see his father, and mind you, you said you have 6. You have 6 kids. You have 6 kids, and apparently this one kid is the only kid that this guy has with you. So the other kids don't get the same thing as each other. However each of their fathers decide to deal with them and like handle it or like father them is how they decide to father them. They don't. How do you expect someone to father your other children the same way that they father their own, when, mind you, they aren't together? So that's the thing about it. You also shouldn't even be putting kids in your adult situations. That's what I'm trying to get at, is that you shouldn't punish him by telling him he can't go to his dad's house if he doesn't bring the PlayStation 5 that his dad bought for his house. Therefore, it belongs to the father. So the kid pretty much has no right to remove the console from the house. He can't just take it from the house. That's just something that he can't do as a kid.
It's not fair that we here cannot afford it, but your dad can. That's not fair.
It has nothing to do with him. What you can't afford for the rest of your kids has nothing to do with this father. It has nothing to do with him. They aren't his kids. So what you can't afford for your other 5 kids has nothing to do with that one kid. If he can provide for this kid, he will do that. If he wants to give you a little money it's to spend on his kid. He's not giving you the money he's not giving you the money to spend on the other kids. He might understand and he might know that you're gonna do that, but it's not for the other kids, it's for his kids specifically. That's how the whole co-parenting thing works. If you guys are co-parenting where you both are in the kid's life, if you have other kids with other people and those other fathers aren't around, that one father, they don't have obligations to the other kids. I'd understand it if you were married to him and he's treating and you all live in the same household, but he's treating one kid differently from the others. But if you guys aren't even married, don't live in the same household, you don't all have the same children together, and you only have that one kid, what he buys for his house is for his house and has nothing to do with you. And what he can afford has nothing to do with you either. He's not obligated to buy things for your other kids because they're not his. They're not. So why are you making it a big deal? Again, putting your son in the middle of this situation where two adults, well, one adult is being petty and salty because of the fact that she can't afford certain things for her children, but her children's fathers can provide things for them. So if she can't provide for them, she expects one of them to provide for all of them. But that's not how it works, buddy. That's not how it works.
If he doesn't want to bring it over here, then he needs to go ahead and trash that PS5 because it's not fair that he has a gaming console and his other brothers and sisters don't. I told my son, next time you leave your dad's house, you make sure you pack that PS5 in your bag. And if you don't, we are going to have problems. There's going to be consequences for you not bringing it home.
Bugging. For what reason? What consequences? What is the point? There shouldn't be any consequences because of his father buying a PlayStation for his own home so that he had something to do with his kid when his kid comes over. Again, it's not the kid's fault and nor is it the father's fault that you can't provide for your other five children. It's not his fault at all. All right, let's go to this next one because this next one is actually a part two. It should be. I think it's a part two. It might be a part two or a part one to it.
The other day, I found out that my son has a PS5 at his dad's house. I told him that he needed to bring the console over to my house because he needs to share it with his six siblings. And guess who brought the console? My son brought it. Because I told him and his dad, if you don't bring the PS5 over to my house so that his siblings could all take a turn on it, then he will not be allowed to go to your house anymore. People in the comments are like, that's not right. His dad is the one that bought it. Like, he could have it at his house. No, he cannot.
Oh my God!
The 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 audacity talking about some. No, he cannot. He can. He bought it with his money. It's in his house. If he bought it with his money to put it in his house, he can have it at his house. He's the one that paid for it. He's the one with the receipt for it. So if he wanted to return it to the store, he can literally show the receipt. You can't do that. You don't got the receipt for it because you didn't pay for it. So again, you're about to tell us no, he can't. When people are telling you in the comments, it's his PlayStation, it's his house, so he can have it in his house. Yes, he can. Don't sit here and try to tell people that somebody can't have what they want in their home. It's their home. You don't pay his bills, considering the fact that you can't even afford to buy a PlayStation 5 for the rest of your kids to play with. If you can't afford a PlayStation 5, which is around like 500, $600, how do you think you're going to be able to afford to pay his rent to be able to tell him what to do in his own home? Makes no sense. So it says, I made my son bring the PS5 at his dad's house to my house so that he can share with his other five children, with my other five children, with your other five children, not his children. They're not his. They're your children. This is what I don't get.
Those are the rules that I have. You cannot have anything in your dad's house that you do not have here at home. Clearly, his dad knew better than that because as soon as he dropped his son off, guess what was in his backpack? The PlayStation. And no, he is not getting that PlayStation back. That PlayStation is staying here because my children, my other children, are the ones that are going to be using it as well. It's not fair for only one kid to be able to play and the others cannot. And some people are like, legally, you cannot do this. Legally, I can, and I did because guess where the console's at my house.
You legally you can't, regardless of whether you think you can or can't. You can't. You can't. You literally can't. Again, he got the receipt for it. He the one that bought it. It was in his house. And honestly, the dad, you weak. You weak. I would have said no. Like, bro. Because all it is she's threatening that you can't see your son anymore if he don't bring your PlayStation over to her house. Okay. Take her to court. Because that's not reasonable. That's not a good reason to keep your son from seeing his father because you can't afford a little PlayStation 5 for your kids. That has nothing to do with him.
I had found out not so long ago that my son had a PS5 at his
So she said, I pawned in the PS5 I made my son bring from his dad's house.
I told him that he needs to go ahead and bring the console over to my house to share with his other 6 siblings. He ended up bringing the console because I told his dad if he didn't bring the console over here, he would not see his child again. And now his dad is upset because I pawned in the PS5. The kids kept fighting over whose turn it was to play. So I was like, you know what? We're going to resolve this issue. I went ahead and I pawned in the PS5. Now his dad is asking me for the money. Excuse me, sir. The PS5 was in my house. You let your son take the PS5.
He didn't let his son. He was forced to have his son take the PlayStation out the house. You forced him to do that. He didn't do it willingly. He was forced to because he actually wants to be in his kid's life and he actually wants to be around and he wants to see his kid. So he did what he did to keep you happy and to keep being able to see his son. That has nothing to do with him letting the son do it. Because he honestly might have not even wanted the son to bring the PlayStation over there. But again, that's not on him. Because again, it's his console. He don't have to let nobody bring nothing nowhere. So that's what I mean by entitled. And I'm like, at this point, I feel like she's just trying to rage bait the internet for real. And mind you, she's going viral off of these videos too. That's the craziest part. She's rage baiting the internet and going viral off it. Because why?
Home, meaning it now is his property, meaning that anything is under my roof is my property. So yes, I pawned in the PS5. I wasted the money on myself. I'm not giving you a dime of what I got for that fucking console. If one child has a PS5, all the kids are gonna have a PS5. My kids are not allowed to have anything that their others, brothers and sisters do not have. And I've made this very clear. And that's why I ended up selling the PS5.
So if you got sons and daughters, right? Your son's not allowed to have underwear because your daughter don't got underwear. Your daughter's not allowed to have shoes because your other son don't got shoes. One kid has something from their father that the other kids don't. So what it's going to be is you can't have it unless everyone else can have it. That makes no sense. It wasn't in her household to begin with. So therefore, it's not like the kid had it in his possession. He just would be able to, he was using it, borrowing it at his dad's apartment, his dad's house. Like,
because if y'all gonna be fighting for it.
But the fact that she pawned it though, and then she's not, and then she says she spent the money on herself. That's literally, honestly, he could pretty much, he low key can definitely sue you for that because why are you doing that? Why are you doing that to him? He ain't doing nothing to you. He like, bro. If you was gonna be like this, you shouldn't have opened your legs with him. if he was gonna be like this towards him because of the fact that he's trying to be in his kid's life and treat his kid good, like a good father. Like that whole thing is on you, not him. You shouldn't feel entitled to nothing because again, it was never in your house. You never paid a dime for that. I think these are different situations. These are pool situations.
If you are my neighbor.
Okay, so these are pool situations, right? If you have a pool in your backyard, my kids will be using it this summer, regardless if you agree or not. I don't agree, and I don't care how you feel about me not agreeing. It's my yard, my pool, my backyard, my property. If someone else has, she feels obligated to have what they have. She feels like it's okay to do what she wants with other people's stuff, with other people's property. That's not how this works. I'm surprised she's not in jail right now. I'm surprised there ain't no cops in the comments. Let's get into this video, bro.
And you have a pool, my kids are going to go use your pool whether you're home or not, or whether they have your permission or not. My neighbor's not home. She left to go work. It's summer break. I told my kids, I'm like, hey, do you guys want to go to the pool? We could use, Mrs. Whatever's, pool. So they got ready and went to go, and they're having a good time. It doesn't hurt nobody. I'm not doing anything to your property. My kids are just going over to use the pool. Nobody's there. Who cares? If you don't want people using your...
That's the thing. Nobody's there. Nobody's there. Due to the fact that nobody is there, you are trespassing on their property because no one's home, and you're letting your kids go into someone else's backyard to use their pool. If your kids were to get hurt in the pool, then that's on the owner of the home. Nobody wants that put on them. Nobody wants any of that put on them. They're not trying to be held responsible for whatever happens to your kids. But at the same token, you're also held responsible because you let your kids go over there. So you pretty much put them in that situation. Some people should not be parents. That's all I gotta say.
Pool, then maybe you should have bought a house without one. I guess she came home like during her lunch or whatever it is and saw that my kids were at the pool, and she knocked on my door. And then she's like, I never said that they could go into the pool. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? The pool's outside, it's not inside your home. If you don't want nobody using your pool, then maybe you should have built the pool inside your house. I'm like, just give them 1 more hour and then we'll be done, And I sent her on her way. I closed the door in her face because you're not going to tell me that my kids cannot use your pool.
You're not going to tell her that your kids can't use her pool. Now, what sense does that make? She's not allowed to tell you that your kids are not allowed to use her pool? Are you okay up there? Are you on something? Did you take your meds this morning? Cuz what are you talking about? Like, yo, my kids ain't allowed to use your pool.
What?
That's mad disrespectful. How you gonna tell me that my kids can't use your pool without your permission?
I'm sorry about that. It's the summer break, okay? Let them have a good time.
No. They'll be all right. The kids at the arcade refuse to share their winning tickets with my children. Okay. Did your children win the games to get the tickets? No.
My kids to go play in the arcade yesterday, and their friends didn't want to share the tickets that they had won. So yesterday I took my kids and a group of their friends to Dave & Buster's. We were all playing, we were all having a good time, and then it came down to having to pick prizes. I tell my children's friend, I'm like, okay, give me you guys this card because, now my kids are going to be able to, pick their prize. And the kids did not want to share their tickets. And I'm like, I'm the one that brought you here. I'm the one that brought you guys to Dave & Buster's. I was the one with the idea to bring you guys here. So the least that you could do is share your tickets with my children.
I get that you brought them there, but don't use that against them. Don't use that as leverage. on somebody just because you brought them there. That's like taking somebody to a buffet, and now that you took them to a buffet, they're obligated to give you their food that they took off the buffet line. No. These kids came here with the impression that, oh, we're going to go to Dave and Buster's, we're going to have fun with our friends and all of that. Their mom's going to take us and we're going to be able to win some games, get tickets, and go home with prizes. No. You got to give some of your tickets to my kids because I brought you here. What? Makes no sense. And I bet you her kids are looking up at her like, what are you talking about? Because honestly, if the other kids wanted to share their tickets with your kids, they would. If your kids had asked them, they probably would. But now you're forcing them to give their tickets that they, worked for and they played the games for and they won. So now they're supposed to give their tickets away to someone who didn't play the games that they were playing, somebody that didn't work hard enough to get those tickets from games and stuff. That makes no sense at all.
Some of them started complaining. They're like, I'm gonna call my mom. My mom's the one that paid, for my power card, blah blah.
Oh, that's even crazier. So their mothers, their parents were the ones that paid for the cards. So therefore, they are not obligated to give your children anything. That is your job. That is you and their father's job. Just like with the PlayStation, the father wanted to get a PlayStation for his kid to play when he's at his house. That's his father's PlayStation. Not yours. Shouldn't have even gone to your house. But you want to threaten fathers, telling them they're not going to see their kids because you don't get your way.
I'm like, okay, so since your mom paid for your power card, how about she comes and picks you up? These children were so ungrateful because if it wasn't for me, you guys would have been home. You guys wouldn't have been at Dave and Buster's, but I was the one that was like, you know what, let me take your friends, so you guys have a good time. And then you don't want to share your tickets, your winnings with my children.
Keyword, their winnings. No, they don't want to share their winnings. It's their winnings. If they want to share their winnings, they have the choice to do so and not to do. Like, bro,
absolutely not. That's the first and last time I ever take those kids out.
Bro, it shouldn't have been a first. There shouldn't have been a first time anyways if you knew you was going to do something like this.
Guys, I need...
All right, so my neighbor called the police because my children were using the pool without her permission, and now I am being evicted. Good. You'll be all right.
I need a little bit of legal advice. So my neighbor called the police because my children were using her pool once again without her permission. And the officer sided with my neighbors. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
Because it's their pool. I would have sided with your neighbors. I'm siding with your neighbors through this video. I'm siding through video digitally. I'm siding with your neighbors. What are you gonna do about that? Everybody in the world would side with your neighbors.
Because my children did nothing wrong. They were just using a pool. If she didn't want nobody using
without
the
permission,
pool, then maybe she should have, had a fence around it or something like that.
It's her.
And then
think about it. It's her yard. If she doesn't have a fence around her yard, I get that. She doesn't have a fence. But that at the same token, that's a safety hazard if you don't have a fence around your pool. You know what I'm saying? If you want people to stay out of your pool, put a fence around. I get that part. But at the same token, just because they don't have a fence does not give you the right to send your kids over there to use their pool just because of the fact that they don't have a fence and that it's open. That doesn't give you the right to do that. It's not your property. It's not your pool. So you got the cops called and now you're being evicted. Good. This is what should have happened. This should have been happened, honestly, since the first time. Because you're saying, yeah, that it's happening again, that they went to the pool, and you're adding the part where they went without permission, like it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing that you need permission to do things on other people's property. That's like going to somebody else's house and instead of asking them to do something or asking if you could use this or borrow this or touch this, you just go ahead and just give yourself a tour of the house and walk around without permission. That's invasion of privacy. Yo, bro, like, bro.
A letter from my landlord that she put on my door saying that if my children do not stop using her pool, I will be getting evicted. So I'm like, let me get this straight. I'm getting evicted because my neighbors are refusing to share their pool with me and my children. Like, this lady doesn't even use her pool. I've never seen her.
What does it matter to you that she uses her pool or not? She has the pool because she has the money to get a pool. You obviously don't have the money to get a pool, and if you don't have money to get a pool, that's too bad. You can go to the store, get a little kiddie pool for your kids. Get like a separate kiddie pool for each of them. Kiddie pools are cheap. You got it. If you're feeling a little extra, cut them open and tape and sew them together. I don't know. I don't care. Because again, I would have called the cops on you as well, because you're sending your kids over to my pool without my permission, especially when I'm not home. Something were to happen to your kids, that's on you, and then that blame is gonna be put on me because of the fact that my pool's open. Yes, but just because it's out in the open doesn't mean it's for the open.
Using that pool for as long as I have been living here. Okay, so it's like, what's the problem that my children are there enjoying? You know, there's some.
You've been using the pool since you've been living there. How long you been living there? That's the reason why you're getting evicted, because because there's so many complaints coming to your landlord about that. Even your landlord knows that that's wrong to do. That's why you're getting evicted. Get your things in order, bro. Get your things in check, bro. Get your life in check.
Break. Do you hate children that much that you don't want them on your property? Like, you don't want them at your pool? So now I told my kids that I'm going to be looking for a property that has like at least 3 neighboring pools around, because I'm not going to just limit my kids to just one pool. I'm not even worried about it. I'm not stressing it. My kids are going to continue using that pool until we move.
They're going to continue using that pool until you move. There's not going to be until you move, because the next time they use that pool, cops are being sent to your house and you're going to get kicked out on the spot, because your landlord already warned you. The cops already warned you. Everybody done already warned you, and you're still going to let your kids go over there. So you're pretty much sabotaging your own living situation because you feel entitled to everything that doesn't belong to you. That's on you. It has nothing to do with anybody else that you can't afford certain things in your life. If you have a vehicle, go take them to a public pool so they can go swimming around, because a public pool is for the public. A pool in someone's backyard is not for the public. It's for their house and for people that are allowed in their house and their backyard. Your kids are not allowed to be going through people's backyards like that. I don't know, man. It's just she's bugging. It's that simple. Bugging. She's bugging. Again, there ain't gonna be a next time, because you send your kids over there again and your neighbors complain, you're gone on the spot. Your landlord's not even gonna give you a second eviction notice. They're literally just gonna tell you gotta go. Simple as that. So you're going to be moving out that same day that they pull up to your house. And there's going to be cops there watching you while you're moving out, just to make sure that you're moving your stuff out. You did this to yourself. Nobody did this to you but you. But that's going to be it for today's video. For me, if you like the video, make sure you like, subscribe. Let me know your favorite part of the video down in the comments below. And if you have any other people on social medias like this, put them down in the comments below so I can look them up and we could watch them together. You know what I'm saying? I could put my 2 cents and you could put your 2 cents down in the comments below. And then you could also go to her TikTok and comment on the TikToks. Don't go in there with a bunch of hate, you know that. We don't do that over here. Just watch the videos. If you feel like commenting, just don't stoop to her level. You know what I'm saying? So, like I always say, love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. As I always say, peace. We good, we gone, and we out. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.